Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Siti Kustini and I'm from Politeknik Negeri Banjarmasin, and I'm here today to talk to you about my research paper, which is entitled A Project-Based Multiliteracy Instruction to Improve Students' Multimodal Literacy. As we know that due to the impact of fast development of technology and increased popularity of social media and chat applications, students nowadays are extensively attached to digital devices such as mobile phones and tablets. And as a result of this, there is an alteration on how students read and write text from print-based to multimodal screen-based text. The shift can also be seen from the way students communicate with one another, in which interactions are carried out not only with speaking and writing, but also with emojis, GIFs, symbols, images, and other digital media. Patterns of communications become intensely multimodal. As a result of these new forms of text and communications, new literacy practices called as multimodal literacy have emerged. The importance of developing students' multimodal literacy in English language teaching is brought to light by several literacy scholars, including Lewan and Hafner. They point out that English language teaching should be expanded beyond the traditional focus on speech and writing to the production of multimodal ensembles, drawing on a range of other semiotic modes. Therefore, there is an urgent need for EFL teaching to develop complementary competencies beyond communicative competence into multimodal communicative competence. And in the context of English for specific purposes, the current of ESP teaching practices commonly take primary focus on learning grammatical structures, vocabulary, and reading comprehensions, and tends to ignore the development of the 21st century text. ESP learners are not trained in such a way to deal with the complexity of text form delivered through digital media. Therefore, the ESP learning should consider these alterations and development of the new form of literacy. To guide this study, two theoretical frameworks were used. The first is multiliteracy pedagogy and the second is multimodal literacy. A slight explanation of multiliteracy pedagogy is that there are three crucial points discussed in this theory. The first is the explanation of why this pedagogy was created. The second is the notion of multiliteracy pedagogy, and the last one is how this pedagogy is implemented in the instructional process. In regards with the research design, so this study employed qualitative case study design in which the research participants were 30 semester students taking ESP course at Informatics Engineering Study Program in the State Polytechnic of Banjarmasin. There were two data collection techniques. The first is classroom observations and the second is students' artifacts. And to analyze the data, this study employed two techniques. The first is thematic analysis for the observations and the visual analysis for the students' project. We come to findings and discussion. So, the project that should be completed by the students during the multiliteracy instruction was creating digital poster, and through this poster creation, the findings indicate that students were able to recognize, apply, and identify the form element of poster, and also the students were able to recognize, apply, and identify the engagement element designed of poster, and also the students were able to recognize, apply, and analyze the message element designed of poster. And how is project-based multiliteracy instruction facilitate students' multimodal literacy learning. The first is that the inclusion of the direct instruction in the instructional process, and the second one is the utilization of multimodal authentic materials. The third is the utilization of authentic tasks, and the fourth is the integration of technology. And after completing the project, so the students were able to present information in multimodal text in an organized and somewhat creative and original way, and the students were able to design visuals which appropriately support the text and utilize appropriate variety of multimedia and visual effects. And the third is that the students were able to express ideas in mostly fluent, accurate English with some errors, using mostly appropriate language for the context. And we come to the conclusion, limitation of the study and recommendation. So there are 4 conclusions here. The first is that project-based multiliteracy instruction facilitates students to view and compose multimodal text delivered via paper and also digital technology devices. And the second is that project-based multiliteracy instruction helps students to learn how to construct multimodal text. And the third one is that project-based multiliteracy instruction facilitates students to effectively communicate and using multimodal resources. And the fourth one is that project-based multiliteracy instruction encourages students to be creative and independent in their ESP learning. And for the limitations of the study, there are 3 limitations. The first is the brevity of time implementing the teaching program, and the second one is the small-scale study in implementing this research, and the last one is the role of the researcher who's acted as the teacher in the teaching program. And for the recommendations for future researches, so longer time for the intervention should be applied, and the second one is larger scale study should be implemented, and the third one is applying other research design, and the fourth one is establishing sound criteria for assessment and multimodal analysis, and the last one is that inviting knowledgeable teacher to get involved in the research undertaking. So that is my presentation. Thank you very much.